And welcome, welcome.
Oh,
But this show here, Real Talk,
real talk.
and we're going to be discussing the movie Phone Booth.
Yep.
And it's kind of weird. Do you think is there a certain age out there of person that you think that they've never seen a phone booth? What age would that be? Do you think everyone has actually seen a phone booth?
I think they know what it is.
Right.
I just think they've never been part of the culture that got to use it.
Right. They may have only seen it in like movies or things like that. Isn't that kind of wild though?
It is pretty wild, yeah. But there's like any number of things, technology things that, or not so much technology, but I guess like all kinds of things that people, the younger crowd.
Right.
They go, what in the world? Mm-hmm. Like I've seen those funny videos of like, I don't know how played up those are, but like when people see cassettes or something, they're just like, what?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Because there was, I'm trying to think back a little bit, and I guess that with me was the 8-track. Mm-hmm. Like I saw the 8-track.
Yeah, that was our time.
I vaguely remember it when I was young, and I remember being afraid of PYT, Pretty Young Thing by Michael Jackson. During the when he kind of sounds like a chipmunk.
Oh yeah.
And for some reason that freaked me out when I was a little kid. But I remember we had that on 8-track. And like even other than nostalgic purposes, how many people today or teens or maybe even early 20s have even seen that in person? Kind of a rare thing.
Well, I think there's companies out there now that do the nostalgia releases, 8-track and cassettes.
Do they do it with the 8-track as well?
I feel like they should. I don't know anybody specifically, but I do know like a million bands are doing the cassette thing now.
Yeah, the cassette thing, that
cool.
was a cool thing. I do remember, and
sure.
I'm sure you do remember,
Sure.
just sitting, listening on the radio for your favorite song.
And just waiting for your moment.
Yeah.
We should do that. We should do like a callback, and we should do I think we should start a duo project and release a song and say it's coming up out in 5 minutes after these words, and have everybody try to record it and then trip them out and be like 10 minutes from now we're gonna play.
Well, even to
sorry, ran out of time, can't do the song today.
Even to this day, when there's certain songs that come on, I remember from a cassette tape that was made when I was younger what followed next.
Oh yeah,
You know
you get
I
that
mean?
pattern. Yeah, you get the memorization in your mind. Making the mixtapes.
Anytime that I hear that song, I'm
the
thinking,
days.
oh yeah, that was made.
Yep.
This song was after. So yeah, we're gonna dive into a little bit of nostalgia tonight
That's right.
with the Phone Booth starring Colin Farrell. So before we get into that, please go to our social media pages. That's the Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, and please go to Instagram and go to awvibe.com as well. So we'll get into a little bit of the website and stuff a little bit later.
Sure.
But so let's say we've got a cocky publicist. He finds himself trapped in a phone booth, so to speak, pretty much pinned down by a sniper, unable to leave.
Yep.
And he's unable to leave the booth.
Right.
And therefore, Stu or Stewart begins the quote unquote negotiation with the sniper. Would you say that pretty much sums up?
I may have gotten the memo incorrect because I watched. You said this is Colin Farrell. I see this right here. I watched Will Ferrell in he was in a glass box of emotion, and that was on Anchorman. I got the memo wrong.
I need to work on my typing skills a little bit.
I see it right here. Like it says it here, Colin. So that's my fault.
Okay.
Anyhow.
Well, glad.
I do remember Phone Booth, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you do.
I did rewatch it.
Now, I hadn't seen Phone Booth probably in at least a decade.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely since it came out.
And I've only seen it maybe 2 times total before last night. And
I'm a one-timer.
And
2-timer now.
Yeah. So did it hold up like you thought?
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun idea. There was, we'll talk about our favorite scenes, but there's a couple moments that really lifted it for me. Mm-hmm. It was very kind of on a very linear level for quite a bit of the movie,
right.
like almost over half. And then there's like a moment when I was like, okay, now we've upped the ante here. But the thing I did not remember is that there's some heavy hitters in the movie.
Yeah.
And I'd kind of forgotten. I knew Colin Farrell for sure, but I didn't. We'll talk about the cast, but I'd forgotten.
I'd forgotten a few of the.
That was a fun surprise.
Yeah, I'd forgotten a couple of them as well. So we'll get a little bit to the ratings right
Let's do
now.
it.
So on IMDb, it has a 7.1, which is a pretty good rating on
Not
there
bad.
because they're pretty tough audience members on there.
Yeah, they're the pitchfork.
The Rotten Tomatoes score 72% positive. So the critics seem to like it pretty well.
Yeah.
And the audience on Rotten Tomatoes only 64%. It was a huge, I don't want to say huge, but it was a box office success, costing $13 million, making 46.5 here in America, worldwide 97.8.
Yeah, that's a success.
So usually the studio gets half, so they've made 50 million, or they've made pretty much 37 million on a $13 million.
Is that really a standard? Studio gets half?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
Yeah, each weekend, the
We need to
first
start a
weekend,
studio.
definitely.
Yeah.
The mid-range studio, I truly believe, is what's lacking and is where the money can be made if you truly love films. Because-
That's we need to we'll deep dive on that.
It's very
That's
true
something-
because you'll
I can
never.
see it in your face. You are passionate about that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I've thought about that for years. If because you have to think about it, and I won't go off on this tangent for too long. But why would you invest in a movie that stars Jack Black that cost $150 million? When Jack Black, I'm just using Jack Black
Yeah,
as an
yeah.
example. When Jack Black has never been in a movie that has made that much money.
Right.
So why would you spend that much money risking?
Right.
So the small, and also nowadays, excluding Netflix, which do, kind of mid-budget movies.
Yeah.
Studios only really do tentpole movies. Mission Impossible,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Flash, Indiana Jones, Spider-Man, things like that. So the originality in theatrical releases is smaller than it used to be because there's all these other platforms,
Right.
which are marvelous. I love them all. But there's something special, at least I think, watching a movie on the big screen.
Oh, no doubt.
There's something to me magical about it.
I agree.
That, maybe if I had my own home theater, I would be like, okay, the magic's here.
Yeah.
But I don't have that, and I think the theater is where a lot of the magic is.
Yeah.
In the mid-level or mid-budget movies, they're not really made for theatrical releases right
Yeah.
now.
So we're starting the GoFundMe tonight for Adam's home theater.
Home studio.
Yeah, the home studio. We're gonna watch movies there.
We're building it brick by brick.
That's right.
On the way up.
Currently, we've got 17 bricks, so
Yes.
we're headed that direction.
Yes, we have about $24 in the budget.
Looking good. Still the same last week.
So a few little fun facts.
Give them to me.
The phone booth actually worked,
Did not know that.
and someone was talking to Colin Farrell throughout filming on the phone booth.
So they were probably doing Kiefer's lines.
Yes.
And it was not Kiefer, obviously. That Kiefer did that from his home
Right.
studio, probably.
Interesting thing that you mentioned, Kiefer.
Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it for
Not at all.
the cast there.
Originally, they had the voice of Ghostface actor Roger Jackson was going to be the voice.
No kidding.
On the other line.
What happened there? Do you know what happened?
I do not know what happened. I couldn't really find any much information, but I did see that fact in a couple different research things I did. Also, another fact about the voice: an actor named Ron Eldard. He's been in a couple things. He's
I know the
mainly a
name.
bit player, but he's been in like Deep Impact. He usually plays like a level-headed guy in the background. And then,
Oh, okay. He's like the sensible. Like,
yeah. And
He's not part of the ragtag.
no, he was originally cast as the sniper, filmed all of the dialogue, all the voice
Oh, man.
for the sniper, and the ending scene.
Yeah.
When it shows the sniper, but they didn't think that he looked threatening enough, so they recast the voice.
What a bummer.
So yep, after the film was shot, they recast. And
What was his name?
Ron Eldard.
Ron Eldard. I'm
Yeah.
going to look him up and see because I don't
Well,
know. if I
he's
know
one of
what he
those.
looks like. I
You've
can't
seen his
remember.
face, but
Sure.
you might not know his name. He's one of those
Yep,
guys.
yep. And there's a few of those fellas in this movie as well. There was
Yeah.
a couple of lieutenants, or a couple of guys in the SWAT team that were part of the movie that for Phone Booth that I know their face, but
Right.
they're in like,
So many things that you're like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yep.
So
I love
the-
those guys. Those are always great actors and actresses. They're always great people. You just like, oh man, I know her.
And
I
you
know.
also know that they really, because they show up sometimes in off the wall things, but they're doing it. Obviously, they need money, or not
Yeah,
need
they're-
money, but they're
they're
working.
paying bills, yeah.
But they also have the creative spirit to go out and play these different
Sure.
characters.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like So I'm deep diving on Twin Peaks right now, but Ray Wise, he's and it's amazing like how much of that work, like he's made an entire career just being a dude in everything. And he's such a good, like a lot of good facial expressions. Like he's a great actor.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I love him.
And he's very memorable.
He really is, yeah.
And a slime bag.
Yeah, fair enough. He's not too much better in Twin Peaks, of course. I don't want to spoil.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Not in real. I don't know about in real life.
No.
But
like
Twin
every
Peaks,
character is always like a
sleazy kind of
like
a greasy character.
Maybe he should have been the sniper. A Ray
Wise
Wise sniper. That would have been great.
So
okay, back to you. So what you got?
So here's a couple of cool things. This idea had been kind of floating around Larry Cohen's mind for a while, and he pitched it to Alfred Hitchcock in the 60s.
Whoa.
And when I read that, I confirmed that a couple of different places, and I was astonished.
That's crazy.
But the reason they never made anything about it was because they could not come up with a reason to keep the protagonist in the phone booth. And that really surprises me that Alfred Hitchcock didn't really come up with something.
Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah, so I found that very intriguing because, he's coming up with all these stories, Vertigo, the birds.
Yeah.
And this is a very simple concept, but how do we keep him in there? So
I guess, Alfred was very busy at that time, so maybe he just had a lot of fires, a lot of irons in the fire.
True.
And he was just like, I don't really care about a phone booth. I'm trying to figure out how to get a psycho out of a shower.
Exactly.
Get these birds.
So on the opposite end of the spectrum, Michael Bay was considered to direct. So he met up with the producers, and one of the first things he asks, how do we get this character out of the phone booth?
How are we getting him out of the phone booth?
So the complete opposite of what they're trying to do with the movie.
Yeah.
We've
got him in the phone booth. That's a great film. Let's get him out.
But can you imagine
Phone Booth Part 2, he comes out.
There could have not been any way that Michael Bay would have read the script.
Sure.
Because how could you read that script and think, well, let's get him out? The whole point is he's trapped and confined in, for 81 minutes, basically, this phone booth.
Yeah. Michael Bay would have been like, okay,
how do we blow it up?
Yeah, there's a huge bomb underneath the sidewalk that's been waiting to detonate for like 15 years.
Yes. Stu just happens to walk in.
And this car turns into a man and sets the building on fire.
And we'd have no idea what else is going on.
Yeah, I don't care about whoever's in the movie, 150 million. And they go, okay, let's sign right here.
Interesting fact, I was an extra on Transformers Dark of the Moon. I was an extra for one day.
What?
The day that I was on set. This is why I was only on there for one day. The day that I was on there, someone had hijacked the car that was Bumblebee that particular day.
Stole it?
Yes. Had a police chase, and they wrecked the car. So they shut down production for the rest of the day and into the next day. And I could only be extra those 2 days. So I was only really an extra about half a day. Dark of the Moon.
Well, this is completely exciting. Was there screen time? Did it make it? Yeah.
No.
That happens.
I'm in a scene. Even when I've slowed it down, I do not see myself. But it was so cool.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was fun. That was when I lived up in DC. So I would go out to be an extra, or I would go out for anything that I could find time to do, and that was there to do. So
was it you that stole the car? You don't have to lie. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, I think it was. It was. That's how I funded Virginia Running.
Yeah, so
I sold the car.
Basically got fired from Transport.
So yeah, that was kind of a cool thing.
Well, that's awesome. What a good little resume thing.
Yeah,
and good story.
And I have seen that Transformers the most, trying to see, but no,
yeah.
I'm not visible. But I did have a uncredited credit on IMDb, so that was kind of cool.
Man, that's cool.
So speaking of extras, the extras in this movie had not read the script, so all their reactions about what Stu or the people were saying,
all the people on the street.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
They're real reactions.
Yeah. Do you think I have a question about the three ladies of the evening that are causing so much grief over the beginning of the phone booth?
Yes.
Do you think they had read the script? I mean, knew what the movie was about, or
well,
they were very animated and they were very upset he was in there, and like there was some I felt like some cool reaction from them.
Well, there was a couple of shots where some of the ladies, especially one lady, the initial lady, I wish I knew her name right away, but the initial lady was told by a director, I didn't even mention the director, Joel Schumacher.
Yep.
But was told by him to say a few choice things that Colin Farrell didn't know that she was going to say.
Okay, that's fun. I think that's a good way to do directing is like make sure like not everybody knows what page you're on, so it keeps
totally agree with
keeps
you.
everybody on the edge,
And you get that honest reaction.
You get real time reaction.
Yeah,
a great idea.
So that happened a couple times throughout. So when his there's a couple phrases or words that she says, derogatory things,
Sure.
and his reaction is genuine, real.
Yeah, she does say you killed my baby daddy.
There's a couple different
Yeah.
things. So through that whole scene, Colin Farrell didn't know.
He's just shouting it out from
Yeah.
a director's chair.
Yeah.
You know,
So I found that interesting.
that's cool.
And all the shots, and as you know, you've read about movies and know a lot about movies. Usually, movies aren't shot in order.
Right.
They're shot out of order.
Yep.
Due to many reasons. It could be location. It could be we had this actor or actors for only this amount of time. You know, maybe sets are being built, whatever it may be. This movie was shot in 13 days, but it was also shot in chronological order. So as the movie, you know, they pretty much day 1 was the beginning, day 13 was the end.
Do you think that's a Joel thing? Does that happen with his movies? Do you know?
You know, I can't say that I know the answer to that. I wouldn't assume so because he's done some bigger projects
Sure.
like you know, Batman Forever
Yeah.
and those. He's done Falling Down with Michael Douglas.
Oh, what a great movie!
I've actually thought about that one because Falling Down
Yeah.
is a very underrated movie. That might be one to add to the
Sure,
list for
add
the
it.
future.
Unhinged was kind of that way too. That Russell Crowe movie.
Yeah,
That was a cool one.
I've heard. Now I know some unhinged people, but I have not seen the movie Unhinged. But I have.
It's very similar.
I have had. I have had
It's cool. You should see it.
a couple people
Yeah.
say it's a good movie.
Yeah.
So that might be one for the list
Yeah.
as well. And one last interesting tidbit here is Mel Gibson was originally set to star in this movie.
No.
He was originally set to star and produce in the movie. He even met with the producers, some other producers, and had even thought about directing it at one point. But some of the
how fun.
ideas that he had, and I'm not sure which ones exactly, but they did stay in the movie. So part of the movie, Phonebooth, has some ideas by Mel Gibson.
Wonder which ideas were his.
I know, I couldn't find anything, but I just found that. And I wondered...
What if there's a gun in the phone booth? You know, that was right.
Yeah.
That's one of his. What if a pizza guy delivers at the beginning?
Like how would that would have totally changed Stu?
If it were Mel Gibson,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, but I don't. You know,
I think they probably made a good choice, though.
I think so, too.
Yeah, because I really did like Colin's believable. He's
Yeah.
just unreal as
Yeah.
an actor.
Well, there's one scene we'll get into it later. It might be. I'm thinking it could be around the time you say your favorite scene.
Yeah.
But there's a scene later in the movie after his dialogue. The crowd or everyone on set, the extras, the people working, gave him
good.
a round of applause. And it's actually on the DVD extra
Oh, cool.
of Phonebooth, and it shows the behind the scenes. And after he delivers this memorable, it's pretty much just him.
Yeah, it's a. There was two of those where he kind of tells about his
Personal.
I'm a slime ball. You
Yeah.
know, he kind of says that out. That's like when his wife shows up, and then he kind of gets real honest there, and then there's the rage-fueled one towards the end where he realizes that the police are kind of coming up the back steps.
Yeah.
We got you. You know,
Yep.
he kind of starts shouting out.
Yeah. So let's get into
Okay, let's
the
do it.
plot.
Let's do it.
What did you think about the plot? Or you want to tell us the audience a little bit about the plot?
Sure,
here?
sure. Like you had said, he's a publicist, and he's kind of a quick-witted, quick-talking. He's got an assistant that kind of follows him around. He's just like, tell this magazine I want this cover. Tell this person, this or that. And he's kind of calling people, and there's
Right.
a quick montage at the beginning of
He's
how,
a mover or
yeah,
shaker.
Yeah, and he's kind of a, I didn't really find him too slime-ballish. I felt just like that's how business is.
Right.
But I think they really wanted to paint him that way, and so.
Because I mean, he didn't really do anything extremely. I mean,
No, the business part really was just his job.
Yeah.
Like he was just saying, hold him off, let's make him sweat, some things like that. The slime ball part, I guess, is where the two girls come in. That's what I think what the audience is going to take away from his personality. So he ends up he goes to a particular phone booth because there's a voiceover at the beginning and talks about technology and phones, and this is the one phone that's always available or something like that, and I guess it's because there's a facility that some of the girls need to use that phone quite a bit,
right?
So
for their business,
yeah. And so that's where he goes in. He methodically pulls his wedding ring off, puts it on top of the phone, and he makes his call to would be the Katie Holmes character.
Yep, which is, I guess, set up as kind of a mistress.
Yeah.
But she, unbeknownst to her, though.
Yeah, she might have an inkling, but
Right.
she's also trying to break into the business, and he's trying to say, I can get you this role, I can do this,
right.
kind of making it that way. And that's just a particular phone booth that he goes to, but it's the wrong day.
Yeah.
It's the wrong day. So that's the so once we get into the phone booth, that's
That's pretty much the premise.
Yeah. But then everybody wants to know how we get him out of the phone booth.
Right. So we spend the next 80. I mean, that pretty much what Anthony just said pretty much sums up the first. You pretty much put him into the phone booth, and he's in the phone booth. What, in the first 10, 12 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
I mean,
he's
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So the rest of the movie, he is actually in the phone booth, and I thought this, as far as stories go, I thought this was a good story.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Great.
I liked where it. I do have a few, and I'll talk about this in least favorite scene, but I do have a few things. It's not really scene per se, but as far as the plot and the story, I thought it was a straightforward plot and story.
Yep.
Anyone could easily follow it, and you're set up not to like the main character,
Or you're set up to like the main character.
That's true
like,
too. Now, did you go into it? Were you set up? Did you like Stu going into it?
I love Colin Farrell, and I love the quick wit of the dialogue.
Right.
But I also love the idea of like the vigilante kind of. You don't realize it's a vigilante or whatever you would call it, but for the movie, I think they just call him a sniper. But,
right.
Trying to find the good, like there's a few movies that are like that where they try to make the bad guy good by putting him through a
horrendous situation,
like Saw or something.
Well, see that kind of this, obviously Saw in this, are completely different genres. Sure. But it made me, like you said, think kind of Jigsaw does more horrific and gruesome kind of a thing.
It's like they're trying to show them the path.
Yes,
this is how you can do good because this is what we're going to do if you continue to do bad. Which is a fun idea.
Pretty much, I'm going to force your hand.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're going to reap the consequences, not of justice or the law.
Yeah.
But of my own personal justice.
Yeah, I'm going to murder all the people around you.
And it's set up that the sniper has done this before.
He has, yeah.
Which I'd forgotten, actually going back and rewatching, I'd forgotten that he says that he has done this before.
Yeah. What did he say? He said twice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said that Stu had had performed the best out of the three.
Yeah.
He continues to say that a couple times throughout the...
And I think it was just random. Like, he just kind of would walk down the street and listen to people.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I took from... There was a little dialogue piece, and he's like, I just, follow you around and listen, and he just became that guy. But I guess maybe with the phone booth, he was... Maybe lives there,
right,
above the phone of the area. And
well, he could have been. It could have been. I was thinking about that as well, and it could have been. Let's say this guy. You live in New York. There's this. Phone booth. You could be out looking out your window day after day, sipping coffee, and you just happen to notice, hey, this guy always goes to this phone booth.
That's probably
what's he do?
Very easy
what's
to do.
What's he doing?
Yep.
He's taking off his wedding ring. If he does it, he knew his routine. So Stu does this every day, and then it'd be like. If you've got that mindset as you're a vigilante, well, here's somebody that needs taught a lesson.
Here's somebody that needs cleansing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the sniper introduces Stu to his own.
This is my method.
Yes. Yes. So that takes us to the characters.
All right.
I thought the characters were strong.
Sure.
I think everyone on screen they did their job. Yep. I don't think there was a weak link.
Nope.
I was trying to think. No, my problem, which I'll get to it in the next segment, has nothing to do with the actors or actresses at all. So I really did enjoy the characters. Did you have a favorite character?
Yeah, maybe not. I think it would be Forrest Whitaker just because I really like him.
Right.
But I like Colin Farrell too, and I think
Right.
Collins was. They're just both very believable in everything.
Well,
you know.
Colin's performance and character is more showy
Sure.
than Forrest
Yeah.
Whitaker's, but I'd forgotten really that Forrest
I
Whitaker was in the
completely
movie.
forgot Forrest Whitaker was in it. Yeah, never even. I was like, oh.
I knew
man.
Kiefer Sutherland and Colin Farrell.
I forgot Kiefer too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And but I'd forgotten Katie Holmes, and I'd forgotten his wife.
Radia Mitchell.
Yep, I'd forgotten her. That was one of her earlier roles.
Yeah, she's been in. She's
Tons.
Yeah, she's been in. She does a lot of the thriller horror genre. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
and
I've
she
seen
does
her
a
in
good job
bunch.
in those.
Oh yeah, she's
She
great.
does a really good
Yeah.
job in those. But
And that was one of Katie's first roles.
she
Early
had
on?
done
Earlier roles?
she had done Disturbing Behavior. That was the movie that was supposed to break her out of Dawson's Creek.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't perform well at the box office or critically. And then she had done a movie, a couple other movies. The name eludes.
Yeah.
Abandon. There was a movie called Abandon with Benjamin Bratt. Didn't do very well.
Benjamin Bratt.
I know. First Daughter, she did that where Michael
Oh, I
Keaton
remember
is
that.
in that one, but none of those performed well,
Yeah.
so she never really broke out. You know, this movie did well, but this wasn't really a showcase for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She did a
Yeah.
great job,
Yeah, she did great. Yeah.
but like some of the scenes, there's a scene where she's in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Those scenes were shot in between takes just because Joel Schumacher liked the way she looked in the lighting. That's the only reason those were used and taken. So she was, utilized a little more than what the script showed. But, and this is not a put down to her, but a lot of actresses could have played that particular role. You know what I mean? Whereas not as many
Sure.
could fill Colin Farrell's shoes.
Right.
So I guess that's why Katie Holmes never really broke out, but I think she did a good job here too.
She stays steady. Like
Yeah.
I've seen her in a bunch of things. So
She's turned out to be a great working
she's
actress.
Staying working.
Yeah,
She's working.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say I don't know. I like Colin. I didn't. I do remember watching originally how I felt about Colin Farrell. So in my personal life, originally I didn't like Colin Farrell.
Really?
Originally I didn't, but then I started watching his movies and seeing the great performances. And then once I saw him in a movie called Tigerland,
Oh yeah.
which is also directed by Joel
It is.
Schumacher.
Yeah.
And the reason
He's great.
that it was the reason that Colin Farrell got this role because Joel Schumacher showed him Tigerland, and that's how he got this role.
Well.
So, but yeah, that really is what turned me over to Colin Farrell, and everything I've seen him in since has been amazing.
Yeah.
In Bruges, have you watched that?
Oh man.
That's one of my favorite.
So good.
It's
Those two guys. I was trying to look up here, trying to figure out. There was that series that he did, Colin Farrell. I forgot the name of it.
and he's been in some very interesting choices because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you recall, but they tried to set Colin Farrell up as a Hollywood heartthrob, like a movie star.
Yeah.
Originally, he was in SWAT, he was in Daredevil, he was in Minority Report, a lot of these big budget action movies. But it seemed like he really his passion wasn't to be a matinee name; it was to actually make art through cinema.
Yeah.
And if you look at through some of his choices, he has done some of those choices and done some really great work. And any time that he has tried to break out and be a box office star, it's not really worked out. Just because I think he's more than just a
Yeah.
Hollywood name.
He was in the Demolition Man remake?
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
That's pretty cool.
Is it really? Is it
Yeah.
a series?
No, it's just the movie. It
They
was
did
just
a remake of.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Really?
I'm trying to pull a list of his movies up.
You know, as we discussed last week.
Funny enough, it keeps just pulling up in Bruges.
Okay.
And then the Banshees of Inisherin.
I have not watched that one yet.
Yeah, that's on. That got into a stack of movies I purchased, and it's. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna
Okay.
get there, Banshees. I'm gonna get there.
I know there's so many good ones to come around.
Man,
But yeah,
I'm so behind. I haven't even watched. Well, I'm not even gonna tell you what I haven't watched yet. But he was in this this one I was looking for. It's Maybe it's not called Dark Waters. It's something different. But anyhow, let's move on.
All right. So
I'll keep us there forever.
well, let's go to favorite scene or least favorite scene. Now you had a favorite that you wanted to mention.
I got it locked and loaded.
Okay.
I think my the North Water. That's that show with Colin Farrell. Have you ever watched that?
I haven't.
Oh,
I haven't.
gotta watch it.
Okay.
So good. It really
Okay.
is good. It's about a group at sea and kind of back. It's set a long time ago. I wasn't prepared to talk about that movie, but that series. But it's so good, so good. I'll remind you about that later. My favorite scene, I really felt like in the phone booth, the tide for me changed when they introduced the gun,
Right.
in the top of the
Right.
phone booth. That was the moment when I was like, okay, I forgot about this.
I'd forgotten about that,
Let
too.
me sit down. We're gonna watch this. Yeah.
I'd completely forgotten
Because
about
it was kind of just going in this, and that may have honestly been the moment when they were just like, how are we going to get him out of the phone booth? And there's like some intern in the back. He's like, what about putting a gun in the phone booth? And they're just like, go get us coffee. But that's a great idea.
Yes, let's use that idea.
Let's go ahead and get that idea. Have that guy fired, but let's get this idea going.
Give him like a $1,500 bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I
Yeah.
can see it. And I'd completely forgotten. After I saw the gun, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. But I'd forgotten about it going into it again.
Yeah. It definitely changed everything. Like it put it, it gave Colin a little bit of power inside the phone booth.
Yeah.
But it was almost like I can't take this power because
It's going to make me
it's
look.
going to make it worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I had.
Yeah. What was yours?
I did like the scene where he's confessing. And one thing that I did notice, if you listen carefully, and it's throughout the entire movie, he occasionally slips out of his accent.
Back into the Irish.
But he said it was done intentionally because he wanted the audience to see how that this guy's even his accent was fake. Like everything about this guy's exterior was fake.
That's some method.
Even his
method
accent.
work right there.
Because in it, he does slip out of it occasionally. And I was thinking, well, he's a professional actor. He wouldn't do that. And then I found some research that's why
That's
he did
wild.
that. So that was really cool. I hadn't really thought of that at all.
So you're talking about the one where he's kind of crying through it, like he's saying
Yeah.
all these things. Even my watch is even fake, and
Yeah.
like all these things. Yeah,
Well, even
that was
early
good.
on, when at the very beginning of the film, when he's walking with the intern, he even slips in out of his accent once or twice during that first stretch, and that was pretty cool to learn.
I'm gonna have to rewatch
Gives him-
that because I didn't remember him slipping out, but he was working really fast. Like there was a lot of dialogue really quick.
really rapid
Yeah,
fire.
the first 10 minutes are
Just like
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
And the scene the only thing that I didn't like about this movie on the rewatch, I didn't like the opening. I didn't like the opening satellites in space.
Really,
I didn't like that.
they bookend it because it's at the end as well.
Yeah, because
What didn't you like?
I thought that they were trying to set up, because I think we have at the very beginning the voiceover talking about
Yep,
the film,
yep.
the phones.
Technology and
I didn't really feel that that really had anything to do with the movie.
yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree, but I think it kind of like it did that big, like you see the Earth and it
Right.
zooms in, and it's just like boom, phone ring, you know.
Right. I get that too.
Kind of one of those quick.
And I thought the opening I don't even know if I wrote it down the other day when I was going through some stuff.
About length of time.
Well, the opening when they're the street singers when they're singing.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah.
But I thought I didn't know if that really set the tone for the movie. Like I guess because I knew what going in,
Yeah.
but when it comes down, they're singing, and then it kind of blends into like.
People,
Yeah.
Times Square, blah
Yeah.
blah, and then it shows him walking like
Yeah.
at the pinnacle, coming into Times
So,
Square where it's at the point.
I don't know.
They're
I would have
walking
liked
away.
to have seen maybe an alternate take just to see what they would have come up with. But that was my only gripe with it, and it
Cool.
didn't make me dislike the movie.
No.
I just don't remember it starting out like that, and I thought that dated the movie as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
I thought
I think
that.
yeah, it did. Yeah,
Because I don't think the phone booth necessarily dated the movie. Now, I guess I don't know if there's a working phone booth now, which I don't think there is. I think as of 2018, I think I read they tore it down.
surely there has to be.
But
If anybody listening, if you could just comment on this video where
Yeah.
there's a working phone booth.
in America,
We're gonna do phone booth too, and we need a working phone booth.
we're just going to do it with water guns. Though.
Yeah, we're not afraid to travel.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll video it.
Yes.
But I didn't. I did think that dated it, and I thought
Isn't that wild? I'm sorry. Isn't that wild to think that the phone booth didn't actually date the film? It was the flip phones they were using that
Yes.
kind of dated
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm talking. Yeah, yeah, because it was like everyone had
Yeah.
the flip phone in there.
Yeah.
And then the voiceover says, and I know this is just nitpicking, but the voiceover says how many millions of people are on their phones.
It goes through some facts and statistics at the beginning, and it's just like there's this many people in the world. There's this many phone booths, and yeah.
And I just don't. I love I love voiceovers usually in general. I just don't know if I would have used the voiceover for this particular movie. I don't know. That's just me being picky.
Yeah, and that's all right. That's why we're here.
But
That's real
it didn't-
talk.
It didn't,
That is real talk.
That's
people.
real talk. It
It's Adam
didn't
with real talk.
didn't make me dislike it.
No.
But I've got a not a love hate, but Joel Schumacher has made some really good films,
Sure.
and he's made some tremendously bad ones, and this one leans toward me more on the good side.
Yeah.
And I think this was, in his wheelhouse because like Falling Down, this I could see a kind of a parallel, a togetherness.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have a good double feature, that might be good together. But
Hey, there you go.
the big box office blockbusters, he should have just
Yeah.
he lucked up with the Batman Forever because it sells itself.
Yeah.
For the most part. But I think he excelled in this kind of movie.
Batman Forever, is that the one where they introduced Robin? Is that
Yes.
the Robin in it?
Now there is a it's floating around. I hope it gets released. It's over 37 more minutes to Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever
No.
director's cut.
We got to
And
get that.
So I hope that
Yeah.
it's released, but I've read that it's been circulating. So I hope there's enough demand for Warner Brothers to put it out because that would be very cool.
Yeah, definitely. Is that the one? I can't remember, but is that the one that's got Arnold Schwarzenegger as?
No, that's the one after.
Okay.
That one's Batman and Robin. Batman Forever has Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones.
okay.
Val Kilmer.
Okay, so that was the second in that whole series.
Yeah.
Did he do the first Batman? No, Tim Burton did that.
Yeah, Tim
That's
Burton.
Right.
Tim Burton did the first two.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna have to go back in the deep dive on the Batman.
Yeah,
movies.
if you go back rewatch Batman Returns.
Okay.
It's on. I think it might be on Max.
Okay.
But I think Batman Returns. It was a nice joy when I went back and revisited.
Okay,
So
I'm
I think you will too. And I think it's kind of an underrated Batman movie because a lot of people don't, or that I don't hear really talk about Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Not really. So, but anyway, I don't want to distract from
Yeah,
Colin Farrell's
we
movie.
could- yep.
What about the score and the music?
Didn't really. It wasn't something that was really. It didn't affect me in the movie.
No.
It didn't really stand out to me. I know it was there, but it was.
Very minimal.
And I
very
think maybe that was on purpose.
yeah.
I feel like it might have been.
Yeah, because there when I looked up the score, there was pretty much only the score that we opened
Yeah.
up with, and most of it is background traffic,
Yeah.
crowd,
Which I think it just adds to the whole idea of it all.
Yeah.
You're on a street, you're in a phone booth. It's all very steel and, manufactured feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it could have been they could have had a different. Oh, is this some score music right here?
Yeah, there's
Let's
a
hear
few
it.
little.
Okay. Hello, Stu. It's time for you to be honest. I think it's how he says it.
That was a good. That
that
was
pretty good?
That was good.
It's time for you to be honest, Stu. Don't get out of the phone booth.
We'll have to start doing some riffs like that.
Yeah,
That's
let's
pretty-
do it.
I like that.
That sounds like a little Elfman, like Danny Elfman, a little bit, like a little swells, or
Yeah.
orchestral swells. Oh, that's cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
But see, even if it's playing when all this other stuff's going
Yeah.
on, it's very,
I don't think there's any dull moments for you to really hear any music at all.
No.
Like, honestly, there's a ton of dialogue in this movie, and like Colin Farrell fills up the screen the entire time. Like, there's so much, like he goes from like rage and guilt and all these things. Like he's
like, full of ego at one
Sure,
point,
sure.
remorse at some point. And like you said, he does command the screen. And I was thinking, so obviously he's a professional actor, but learning this much dialogue, that
couldn't even imagine.
in 13 days?
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, I know
I'm good. I'm good to remember like the 40 songs that I know that I play. Like, I couldn't imagine like doing a different movie, like
No.
memorizing it and then forgetting it and moving on.
I think remembering the dialogue is the hardest part of acting.
It's got to be, yeah.
I mean, it really does. That's when I write my scripts. I write minimal dialogue.
There it is. So maybe if there's so honestly, people, listen, if there's a movie that's casting and there's no dialogue, can you please get us in touch?
Yes.
We would like to audition.
Well, that's why.
Or not audition.
Yes. Silent audition.
Silent audition, please.
That's why, if you notice in Dreams, very little dialogue.
Oh, fair enough.
But also, I like to let actors improvise too,
Sure. In Dreams. That's an Adam movie. Go find that. It's on the YouTube. You can
Yes.
find it on the other people pages.
Yeah, please go check that out.
Yeah, check it out. We need to talk about that at some point too.
Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah,
and,
I thought.
and my rework of In Dreams 2. I didn't tell you that was coming today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm working on that right
Okay,
now. Yeah.
I'm excited to hear about that. So, what about originality?
Probably not double negative here. Not original, but
Right.
I thought it's a great idea.
I did too.
Yeah.
And I don't know of another movie right off the cuff where someone's trapped in a phone booth.
No, maybe not.
I mean, I'm sure there's people trapped in a. I know actors and directors like the challenge of filming in one location.
Sure.
To seeing what you can do with it, and that would be. I've had a couple of filmmakers tell me that that's one of their dream projects.
Really, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that?
I thought about it. I honestly had thought about it originally after watching Reservoir Dogs for
Okay.
the first time. I mean, although that's not just in one place, primarily it's in one location.
Sure.
But that's always intrigued me. I've just never had an idea that's caught me
Yeah.
enough to go into it. But
I do love like the first 10 minutes of Reservoir Dogs.
oh yeah,
The whole diner scene just is so good.
the dialogue, the camera
Yeah,
work.
so good.
Um,
That one fella just over and over going, Toby Wong, Toby Chu,
Yeah.
is it Toby Wong? Like, keeps going on and on. So good.
and see, there's so many things in that I
Yeah.
didn't initially, notice that. But the second time I watched it, I did notice that.
Yeah. You have to watch it like 8 times to
Yeah.
really go through and go, okay, I did not know he was doing that the whole time.
If you go back, somebody was telling me, and this is way off topic. It's the Great Outdoors with
Dan Aykroyd and John Candy.
yeah, in the background. So they're in the foreground doing their dialogue, but in the background, the other
man.
background actors are like hitting each other in the head with
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, those are great.
It's right after they shoot that bear in the butt.
Right.
And I can't. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember watching all the great stuff that was going on in the background that I never noticed. Or sometimes you can watch the background actor or actress in the extra just happen to I forget which movie, but there's like a gun or a loud sound, but you can see one of the extras plug their ears like half a
React.
second
Yeah.
before it happens.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because somebody's going,
Yeah.
loud noise
Yeah.
coming,
So you can see them go like.
Yeah, that's fun.
So those are always kind of fun things too. But yeah,
Maybe we should do an episode where we just talk about the background.
that would be fun.
Nothing but the background today, folks.
that would be great. I'm like you with originality.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think it was an interesting premise, and apparently so did Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
So
But just not right now. I got birds. I
Yeah.
got a shower scene
Yeah.
I got to do. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was fairly original.
Yeah,
I can't
cool.
think of another. I mean, maybe there's some scenes of movies where people are trapped. Like I think there's a Ryan Reynolds movie called Trapped, or no, that one's called Buried.
Yeah.
where
Oh, I forgot about Buried.
He's buried in
Yeah.
the and even in a scene in Kill Bill Volume 2 where the bride, she's in the coffin buried
Yep.
alive. So there's a lot of those
not a
kinda,
whole well,
no,
yeah.
not a whole movie, but so I can't think of a whole movie where a lot of characters are confined just to one space like this. But that they made it believable. They made
Sure. They use something that everybody knows. Like,
Yeah.
not everybody gets buried alive, but everybody's been in a phone booth.
Yeah.
So it's very like,
And it's a very the only thing that, and I thought about this, I wouldn't have even answered the phone to begin with.
would you not?
No, I don't think so.
Well, yeah, that's a great question.
I mean, would you have?
Yeah, I feel like I would.
You think so?
Because even the voiceover says, if there's a phone ringing, you have to answer, or something like that.
Well, see, when he says that, I was thinking, would I answer? I don't know.
Let us know, people. Comment. Let us
Yes,
know.
please comment.
If you're walking by a phone booth, unassuming, headed to get the coffee, get the dry cleaning, whatever. Telephone rings. Do you answer it?
Do you answer?
I need
the
to know
phone?
if you answer it. Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? Now thinking about it, I have when the Walmart used to be at the old location.
Okay. Yeah.
There was
I
some
know.
phone booth, or not booths, but there were some pay phones
Yeah.
in the front part, because I also
On the
had,
sidewalk out in front of the buildings.
Yeah, and they had the little.
Yeah, I remember like in strip malls when they
Yeah.
would just have them right outside.
And one did ring one time, and I did answer it.
Okay, what happened?
This is what I'm gonna tell you is the truth.
This is it, folks.
So this was probably back in 1996 or 97. I was 16 or 17. So I did answer it, and there were two girls on there that said they had seen me before, which I didn't know, who knew, and they wanted me to meet them. So they did come there and they met me.
You're kidding.
But they were about my age, because they used to drive in the circle, because people would drive around.
Yeah, you cruise.
Yeah, but I didn't really cruise. I was just walking out the door at Walmart,
Yeah.
and I just happened to pick up the phone. And this one girl, I just now thought of her name. Her first name was Amanda.
Okay.
One time it was that same night. I can't recall exactly, but they got in my car and we were talking, and she got upset about something and scratched my arm. And then I said, out.
Get out, Amanda. Don't ever call my phone booth again.
And, yeah.
That's wild.
Yes. I'd completely forgotten
Well,
about
here
that.
we are, opening up the memory banks.
Yeah.
I can probably honestly say that I've never walked near a phone booth at the time that it was ringing.
Wow.
But I have checked a few phone booths for a change.
Yes.
Not going to lie.
Yes. No, one time also, I don't know if it was operational. I'm sure it was, but I did go to, back in early 2000s, got to go to London. And there were a lot of cool phone booths over there and stuff. So, there was a lot of pictures taken.
So you got into a TARDIS.
Yeah. A lot of cool stuff there.
That's
But,
fun.
yeah,
Did you get some pictures of you in a phone booth?
I do.
All right.
There was before the digital photos. It's actually an actual photo.
It's actually you inside.
Yeah.
Maybe you could throw that up for everybody to
But
see.
yeah, I'll have to. I'll take a picture, because it's actually
fun.
a photo.
Oh,
like
it's a
printed photo.
A real photo.
Yeah. It was. They were taken on the
On an 8-track.
on the on those little, what were those?
Oh
called?
yeah, like the
Disposable-
Instamatic or I don't know if that's what it's called, but like the Insta things that you had to go develop.
Yep.
1 hour photo. We should do that movie.
Yes, we should do that movie.
We are bringing we're doing callbacks
That's
here.
a
That's
great
what that's
movie.
called, people.
I've not seen that movie in a while.
Real talk. We got the callbacks all day.
We definitely do.
That's what we're gonna do a T-shirt. Real talk. We got the callbacks.
We got the callbacks. So, what would you recommend this movie, Anthony?
Yes, I'm gonna recommend it.
Me too.
I think everybody should see it. I think it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun, and you'll be surprised that Forrest Whitaker's in it.
Now, would you think most people have heard of this movie?
Yeah, I feel like they would.
think
Like,
so?
I thought it was kind of a box office-y type film.
Right.
Obviously, if you're not into those actors or even him,
Right.
Colin Farrell, I don't know that you would,
would check it out
Yeah,
if-
if it's not on your radar, you would never.
Right.
Because it is a little bit of a sleeper for him, even.
Yeah. And it's not really. I mean, it's a thriller, but it's a lot of wordplay,
Right.
and it's a lot. If you like dialogue-driven movies, a lot of intensity.
Sure. And there's nothing really like horror-y or gross about it. Like, it's
No.
all pretty just tense.
Yeah.
It's tension mounted.
And
sort of.
in curse words. That's
there's
probably,
some of that. Yeah.
You know, other than that, and it's nothing. I thought it was a very fairly believable story.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought everyone did well. Just thought the screenplay was top notch. The performances.
Agreed.
I have to recommend it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we should do it. Maybe we should incorporate our own rating system. Like, I don't know. We give it like between 1 to 5 reels or something.
Okay.
So I give it 3 reels.
3 reels. I'll give it 3 reels.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, we're middle of the road over here.
Yes. 3 out of what? 5?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Or we could do 1 to 10.
Okay. I like 3 out of 5.
Yeah, 3 out of 1 to 5.
Yeah, I think that's good.
And reels, as in like a reel of tape or film,
yeah.
like the logo.
I could put a little reel on if after we rate the movie.
Oh,
It's a little like it's just thumb down.
Yeah. We're building it here, people.
Yeah.
We're building it.
Brick by brick, what we
That's
said
right.
earlier.
That's right. We had 24 bricks when we came in here. Now we got 25. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Thank you, Colin Farrell.
Thank you, Colin Farrell, for. Oh, this just in. We got a brick from Colin Farrell, all the way from London. Or from Ireland. Sorry.
So here's kind of a little funny something. I don't know. I know this isn't true. So earlier on the Facebook page,
Okay.
I put a poster of the
movie
Phonebooth.
Yeah.
Some people liked it. One of the people that liked it happened to be Colin Farrell.
No.
Now, it can't, by any stretch of the imagination, be the real Colin Farrell. But the Colin Farrell that I tagged, and it has over, let's see how many, 5.4 followers liked it.
All right. So thank you, Colin.
Yeah. I'm sure that's not the real Colin Farrell.
It is.
But it could be, but it was kind of, I was like, Colin Farrell?
Now we're in his radar.
Yes. It just made me laugh that even happened.
That's great.
Because whoever runs that page
Yeah.
is getting some enjoyment out of it.
Oh,
too.
sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they're gonna like everything that you tag.
Yeah.
What would have been even better if he would have called us.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Yes.
Like
You can.
Yeah.
That's how I met Andy Dick. I just tweeted him. That's how him and I started
Get out of
talking.
here.
I'll give it a quick story. I was working overnight in D.C. at the radio station, and I was writing Virginia Running. But I'd originally had Lakin, who played Virginia. I originally had it'd be Lakin and her mother, but I couldn't find anybody that I could cast as Lakin's mother. Then I was going through Twitter. I'd followed Andy Dick on there, and I'd seen a mugshot of Andy.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've never seen Andy without glasses. He could be kind of a dad type.
Sure.
So he started posting these little jokes and stuff, and I would respond, or he would host like joke tweet of the week, whatever, something he did, and I won it a couple times, and then that's how we started talking.
Well,
And
that's a great
that's how
story.
So
That worked out.
yeah, it did work out. But I'll tweet Colin. I don't think Colin Farrell tweets, but if he did, I would tweet him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah,
We'll just call him.
yes. Put him. I like that. I think Colin Farrell would be a fun friend to have.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
7 Psychopaths. Have you watched that
I
movie?
have seen that. Yeah.
That's a good one too.
I'm sure it'd be a wild time.
Yes.
I think about some of those scenes in Bruges.
Whew. That's such a great movie.
Oh man,
It's really a good one.
I'm going to add that to our list. We have a running list here at the office of movies that we want to talk about.
Yes. So, what do you think for next week?
I don't know. What do you think?
You want to go with The Fountain?
We can.
Yeah.
We talked about either that or Drive, so I'm down with The Fountain.
Because I have not seen The Fountain.
Oh man,
I've seen.
get ready.
And I've seen a lot of Darren Aronofsky.
Aronofsky.
I know a lot of his films,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen The Fountain.
Okay. Well, it's a.
I know it's a ride.
It is for sure. It's such a beautiful film, and it's. I just remember being very emotional through it.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very emotional film.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to.
Yeah. I'm excited to rewatch it because I saw it and I was just blown away.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm glad to go back to it. Awesome. So next week we got The Fountain. Darren
Yeah.
Aronofsky.
So thank you everyone for tuning into Real
Thanks,
Talk.
gang.
Before
Appreciate
we leave tonight, please check out our social medias: Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And next week, check out Real Talk with The Fountain. I'm Adam.
I'm Anthony, and if you need us, just call us on the phone. Just call us on the phone booth.
Yes.
We'll be right there waiting.
Good night,
Or checking
guys.
for change. See you later.